Woman continues to care for ex-husband following traumatic brain injury along with new husband. A woman still cares for her ex-husband following his traumatic brain injury, and her new husband even helps out. Back in 2008, Kristen Armstrong received a life-changing phone call. Her husband, Brandon Smith, had been involved in a horror car crash. Smith, then 24, was in the neurotrauma intensive care unit. He and his 23-year-old wife had been married for 2 years and were high school sweethearts. But Smith's health condition went on to change both their lives completely, including their relationship. Smith ended up in a coma for 2 months and was moved into a Texas nursing care facility as he required constant care. They couldn't tell me if he was alive or not, Armstrong, now 38, told Today.com. I remember asking my mom, what will I do if Brandon is gone? Even though Brandon's doctors warned me that if he did wake up, he would be forever changed because of his severe traumatic brain injury, I held on to hope that a miracle would happen if he'd be the same Brandon. But he wasn't. Every morning I woke up and I was hit by this train of sadness. I was grieving a living person, and that was very complicated and isolating. She'd planned to spend the rest of her life with her soulmate, dreaming of having Smith's kids. But when she learned he'd never be the same again, Armstrong decided to get a divorce. Jeez. But when she made this gut-wrenching choice, she did promise to look after him. Armstrong later married her new man, James Armstrong, in 2015, and pretty extraordinarily, he is helping care for Smith too. We bring Brandon to our house every week and we take him out to restaurants, she said. What makes it really beautiful is how much my family has accepted Brandon as part of their family. The devoted ex-wife now shares TikTok videos of their life with a clip of her new husband feeding her old one in a restaurant getting over 7 million views. She wrote in the caption, "So grateful for this man who not only chose me but chose B too. Your husband is 1 in a million. I don't know many men or women that could do that," one person commented, while another added, "If my heart could explode, it would have already. God bless you all, and thank you for showing us that there are people out there with hearts."
Wow.
What do you think about that?
Again, it's what the comments were saying, bro. I feel like very few people would be willing and able to do this, to care for someone else's ex-spouse.
But you think so, though? Because if you really think about it, it's almost like, have you ever seen the movie Castaway?
Yeah.
With Tom Hanks?
Yeah, of course.
Think about it. He goes, he disappears, he then comes back. The wife moved on because he was declared dead, but he was able to survive and everything. And when he comes back, like, it's not like you completely lose all those feelings. You see this person, you're like, shit. Obviously, in this case, it was more of like an injury, and it's not like she stopped loving him because he was a terrible person. It's just that, he wasn't able to provide that kind of life, but the love was still there. Now, finding the man to be like, yeah, I'm comfortable looking after this guy.
That's the hard part. No, I'm not. I think it's harder to imagine the new husband's position than her. Like, yeah, she loved him or she loves him clearly. That there's no doubt about it. But finding a new spouse who will willingly care for someone who's 100% disabled, that someone used to be their husband, like, that's tough. And I don't think most men would be willing to do that.
Would you feel comfortable?
No.
Say that you're dating this girl, man, and Claudia. She's like, yo, my ex, the only reason why he broke up is because he's I don't know.
Can't have kids.
Cucumber. I was going to say. Well, think about it. He has a completely brain injury. Like, he's a vegetable.
Yeah.
At that point. Like, they have to take care of him and stuff. Like,
I would be like, okay, what type of quality of life is this person living? And so I would probably encourage her to, if she has any power or any say, to like let this person go, Dude, would you want to live like that for the rest of your life? Being a vegetable state, not having any type of quality of life, not enjoying anything? I think most people would probably say, dude, just put me in the ground.
yeah?
Yeah, I think so. We can probably put a poll up and ask, I would love to hear people's opinion. But I wouldn't want to live like that. And so if I met somebody, it's like, oh, yeah, like, we will have to care for this person too, and they're 100% disabled. It's not even like I would be jealous or anything. I would just be like, dude, put them out of the misery. Like,
But what if he's not miserable? What if he's like, you know what? I'm so blessed that I'm still able to breathe with my lungs. And
And they can articulate that, like they'll tell me that.
But what if they are feeling that way and you think, nah, this guy wants to,
How do I know they're feeling that way?
I don't know. It's a blink once if you want to stay alive, blink twice if you want to take it out.
He'd be like,
His eyes are dry as fuck. Fuck. He's all right, dog.
blink. No, dude, but like, no, if he
I know. All right, if you want to live, don't blink. If you want to die, blink. You just wait.
I'll be here for 10 minutes. Yeah, it is fucked up. No, I mean, if he can express, hey, listen, like I'm, whatever, like if he's somewhat disabled, that's one thing. But this guy is gone, dude.
So, what do you think about that situation though, with the man that's dating, that man that's now the husband, the new husband?
The new husband, yeah, dude. It takes a special man to be okay with that. But I feel like he's okay with it because he probably understands. Listen, like this guy he's never gonna have a normal life. He's never gonna be, like. That person is 100% disabled. It's not like, oh, maybe they broke a leg, or maybe it's just temporarily, or maybe it's something they can heal from. Like, no, like.
So it's not really like like threatening or anything for
that's
him to
what I'm
have some sort of.
That's what I'm getting at.
Unless.
Yeah. So the mom, the wife left her husband, her first husband, because he couldn't have kids.
Yeah, that's what the article stated. I'll go back.
It's kind of fucked up, no?
So then what would you have her do then? What would you have her do?
Why didn't she adopt kids with? Because she needed help, raising the kids. She didn't want to be a single mom, quote unquote.
She'd planned to spend the rest of her life with her soulmate, dreaming of having Smith's kids. But when she learned he'd never be the same again, Armstrong decided to get a divorce. But then she made this gut-wrenching. But when she made this gut-wrenching choice, she did promise to look after him forever.
Damn. Maybe that. But isn't that even worse? Like, you're gonna leave me because you can't have kids, so you'll be with somebody else who can. And then I'm gonna have to witness that for the rest of my life.
Well, not so much witness. I mean, I'm sure it's painful, but just like you said, like, oh, like if I were in that situation, I'd understand it. Yeah, like just take me out at this point. Like, there's no quality of life. But what if somewhere deep down you're like, damn, but I know I can't do anything, but, the people that, they love me, and even though I look like this, they're still willing to be there for me, and they look forward to taking care of me. Like, that alone is a blessing, We complain about little things. That man really can't do shit, but somehow he still has people that look after him, almost like another relative, part of the family, that they take care of him, and they just want what's best for him. Because at the end of the day, think about it, like, he was doing right by his wife, his ex-wife. It's not like he was a terrible, well, based on that, the fact that she's staying and she wants to take care of him. Seems like he was a good guy. And if he still has, I mean, not much quality of life, but he has enough where he's like, you know what, I'm at least surrounded by people that love me. And maybe he goes, yeah, I mean, this is a burden, but I can't do assisted suicide or whatever, if that's what he wants to fucking do, or I can't have someone. Maybe he can roll himself in the middle of the busy street. It's fucked up, dude. Yeah. I hate that I'm saying this shit, but I'm saying it kind of jokingly, but at the same time, dude, it's true. I mean, it is kind of fucked up. So maybe if you were to ever get that point, knock on wood, hopefully it never does. But then you'll see something like, damn, like, I had said that I want to just end it, but I don't know if I could. Like, this is all I have left. Let me at least appreciate the little things that I have.
But appreciate what? Like,
someone loving you and someone looking after you and being able to feed you, taking you out to these restaurants. Like, think about it, dude. You have all these other people that they're probably going through other things that they don't have the opportunity to do so. And then you're like, man, I'm all fucked up. But at least like someone's willing to still look after me, even though I look like this, even though I feel like I'm such a burden, they're still making me feel like I'm incorporated. You never know what that does to that person. Because then you think, oh, wow, I would never want to be like that. But maybe one day, unfortunately, you do get to that. And someone, instead of saying like, yo, you're fucking a pain in the ass, or dude, taking care of Marvin like this is horrible. Maybe they're actually like, no, dude, like, Marvin's still gonna be here. Like, I want to make sure that if I could, let me have him participate as much as I can. I want to bring him around. You're my boy. Like, imagine me if I'm like, dude, like, if I could, I'd be like, dude, of course, yeah, bring Marvin. Oh, Marvin's just gonna be back in there in the corner. I don't care, but he's gonna be in the corner with us.
It depends, man. If that person can express that in some way, that, hey, listen, like, I'm okay with being this way and like whatever. But if you tell me like, oh, like I'm miserable, like,
but what if they can't say any of it? What if they're just there?
And then I would have to assume that they're not happy. And
That's what you would assume. That's a shitty assumption then.
but I'd rather assume that than keeping them in their misery for decades to come.
What if they communicate with their eyes or something
Like
or maybe the doctor no, but maybe there's some ways for them to communicate where they give them some sort of other assisted methods and they'll be like, hey, if you can, maybe they can move a finger. And they say, hey, lift your finger up.
It depends on the case. If the doctor says, listen, is he conscious? Is he aware of what's going on? Like, what do you guys think? Is he happy? And if the doctor tells us, listen, he's really just in a state of like,
he doesn't know.
Yeah, unawareness, where he's just like there, which that does happen. And then at that point, it's like, he's not even conscious. Then what am I doing? This is literally just his body. He's maybe he's not even breathing on its own. Maybe even his heart is not pumping on its own. At that point, I'm like, okay, like what are we doing here? So I'm just gonna wheel him around just to say that I am. That's also not fair.
You've never heard of that guy who's been in an iron lung for like I don't know how many years, like his entire lifetime?
No, I've never.
No iron lung lifetime. I got you. Because it's something similar. Because this man, the man in the iron lung, today he is 74, and one of the people. Okay. The summer of 1952 was hot, even by Texas, whatever. Oh, I have to friggin' read and stuff. No, but there's this guy. How long do people stay in iron lung? 2 weeks. 68 years later, an iron lung is still keeping Lillard alive. And you imagine being in an iron lung. You know what an iron lung is?
No.
You're basically, have you ever gotten like an MRI? You know how they kind of
sure.
have you for like your whole body, like where you
I
go
have
in?
not,
No? All right, dude. An iron lung is essentially imagine like a whole capsule, almost like if it were an MRI machine, and like you get put in feet first.
Sure.
So let's say, for example, and it stops right around here on your head. Now imagine that completely encapsulated. So your entire body is in this machine, and your head is just sticking out, and that is assisting you to breathe. That's an iron lung. This guy, yeah, look, this is another one. Decades after polio, Martha is among the last to still rely on an iron lung. Look, it's basically like this, like your head is just sticking out.
Yeah.
So what do you do with this? What do you do with this person?
I wouldn't want to live like that. I'm sorry. Like who if they can express that they're okay living like this, then that's on them. But you can't tell me that is any way to live to go about life.
No.
No way.
I think your opinion would change if you got to that point.
Hopefully we never find out.
But
that begs the question in the situation. She left the husband because she really wanted to have kids, and she saw, hey, listen, this is not somebody that I can have kids with. How would you feel about that? Let's say you're in a situation, God forbid, that you're with somebody, you're married, you and Christina, whatever.
I was going to ask you, I hate that you're asking me because you beat me to the point. Piece of shit.
I mean, that's kind of the underlying question in this whole story. Because you say for better and for worse, right? Let's say you get married. This is the person that you're going to spend the rest of your life with. There are going to be some worse days. I mean, hopefully not that bad. But let's say that something does happen. You have to prepare yourself. You know, how would you go about that?
It's funny because, like, for some reason, sometimes I think I need to go to therapy, dog, because right before I go to bed, I always think of the most traumatic experiences. I don't know why. It could be like maybe Peaches running into the middle of the street and a car hitting her, or Christina, something happened to her and she, I don't know, gets like burns or whatever, like maybe a fire, car accident, whatever. I don't know why. Right before, and it's not always that. It could be something with my family, something with me, I don't know why, and it gives me like some like hit right before I go to bed. And I don't know if it's just like a reminder to be grateful, or I don't know if it's maybe some sort of other response that's happening. But I remember that there was this one time that I thought, like, man, like, what if like Christina, like, she was in an accident and she had burns all over the place or whatever. And then I'm like, dude, like, I don't know if I would be able to leave her. You know, I don't think I could. You know, I really do. I love Christina like crazy, and I feel like she does so much for me, and I don't know. She's just made me into the person I am today, and I feel like as our relationship progresses, it makes me a better individual, and I constantly grow, and I look forward to the relationship that we have. And I think that's going to still mean something. I don't know. That's just kind of how I am. I'm really, really big with relationships. As you know, like even with our friendships, like I tell you I love you because I do. And we were talking about it earlier with with Leslie about our relationships and my group of friends. So like it would be devastating. I was even talking to Christine about if we had to move, right? Because of how expensive this shit is. And my barber today was telling me like, oh, all of my family's over on the West Coast. Like they're in West Palm or not West Palm. They were in by the Naples area, the Cape Coral, just on the West Coast, right? He goes, my whole family's over there. He goes, bro, and after a couple years when I retire, I want to go over there. And then I started thinking like, dude, I may have to do that. And when that happens, I won't have my friends anymore, which is a reality for many people. And I guess I'm realizing this now. And it's like, damn, like there may be a day that I won't see you ever again because what if that's where life takes us?
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
So then I bring that back to my current relationship with Christina, where it's like if something devastating were to happen, I don't know if I would be able to leave her. I don't know. It would be tough. It's hard to have that question answered.
Yeah.
For you, I think it'll be a little bit easier. I think because you're very quick to be like, oh, hey, if I'm fucked up, take me out. So if she's fucked up, you'll be like, fuck that bitch.
No.
Really?
I mean, if I would feel like a burden, you know, I would feel like if something happens to me.
But what if something happened to her?
No, I mean, I love Christina.
We were talking about
Yeah.
it.
Hey, what are you talking about? I love Claudia, and so and even now, the more we date and the longer we're together, like beauty fades and everything else is like, everything else is just, there's so much more to a relationship than just sex or just the looks or just whatever. Like it's once you've been with somebody for so long and for a while, and you surpass the traditional, just the basic level of a relationship. And Dr. Hayes is the one who's always said it. It's like, this is somebody that you're planning on growing old with. If you just care for how they look, right, physical appearance, if you just care about the sex or whatever, like that is secondary. Like that, it does not matter as much as, do you love spending time with this person? Do you love being in quiet, not even speaking, just being with this person? That's what really matters. So no, I mean, if something, God forbid, would happen to my girlfriend now, I don't like to. I believe I would still be by her side, doing whatever it is that I can do. Now, if she tells me, listen, I'm miserable, I'm in pain. This, you know, obviously, if this is the worst case scenario, it's like, well, what can we do? But for me, if something would happen to me, to that extent, I'd be like, yo, fuck, like, take me out. Like that, I've always been that way. Like I don't want to live that way, but I would never be like, oh, you're a bird and I'm gonna leave you. I like to believe, it's hard. I like to believe that I would be that way, but you don't know until it happens to you.
So then you would still look after Claudia if she had some sort of injury, and then
I would still
remarry also, and then your wife. So then you would then put that burden on your wife then, because then think about it, your next wife.
I don't know if I would
think of it the other side.
I don't know if I would leave, like Claudia. Like I would stay with her, right? You know.
So you wouldn't do what she did. You wouldn't.
I wouldn't remarry. Like if let's say Claudia cannot have kids, right? In this situation, if anything, we'll just adopt. I'll adopt a kid. I'm not gonna have a kid with somebody else just because Claudia can't have kids. You know, and then me and her, we've talked about, what if we can have kids or whatever. I'll adopt a kid, you know, I'll be okay with that. Or
well, we had that conversation the other day that even she with Christina too, she was telling me the same thing, like, oh, like if Chris couldn't have kids, I think he'd still want me to, you know, to have children. And I'm like, somebody else? No.
Well, first you said that you would be okay with that.
I never said that. No, she thought I was gonna say that. She when I told her, I'm like, nah, like that's stupid. She's like, really? I'm like, I thought you would have a different opinion. I'm like, okay, so you're going to raise a child that's half you, but half someone else. Like, it's not even me.
But isn't it better to have at least half, like yeah, it's not your kid, biologically speaking, but it's your partner's, right?
No.
So you'd rather it be none of your kids?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, because it's not going to have it, unless it's like, I don't know, maybe LeBron James or something, or some sort of like peak athlete, then I know I'm going to have a...
But would you want to raise a kid that doesn't look anything like you?
That's the thing. That's where it's not even that. It's not even that. For me, it's going to be hard to raise a child that I feel like it's not really mine. And at that point, it's if I can, I would prefer to adopt for us to both take that, to still have that experience.
To both feel that way.
Yeah, I would feel weird. And she was a little bit like weird about it, but it's just, I don't know. For me, it just didn't really make a lot of sense.
Yeah. Everyone I asked about this, the same question. Like every man that I asked is like, no, I'd rather us adopt and it'll be none of our kids.
But have you asked other women?
We were at a function. I've asked other women, and they were like a little bit surprised, like, why not? At least it's half yours. At least it's half of the
Interesting. Interesting topic.
But I can see how for men it's like, dude, I want to raise my own child, and I don't want to raise somebody else's kid that's my wife's kid. You know, like that's her half of her DNA, and it's so there's a man running around in the world, and that's his kid. You know, like I don't know. It's just maybe it's something like about men where like, you know, like I don't want to raise somebody else's kid, not in that way, right? You know, so tough questions, you know. But those are things that very extreme situations, you know, like the story that we're talking about. But you know, sometimes you gotta ask those questions, you know, those extremes.
Well, we'll ask the audience. What would you rather do? Obviously, we started off with a segment of the article that we read, but say that your partner could not have children, okay? And so, yeah, would you rather just fully adopt? Say, you know, your woman. So, men, you're dating your woman. You can't have children, but she can. Are you comfortable with her raising a child that's 50% hers, 50% somebody else's, but yet she is able to get pregnant? So at least it's half within the family. Or would you rather just take the chance or make the decision to go ahead and adopt altogether?
It's not a 50% hers. It's 100% hers, and it's 0% yours.
Well, it's 50% some other dudes.
Right, but it's in your in your equation.
Well,
it's
sure, I guess.
It's not.
So you think that that's a selfish decision for her to do so then? For her to get pregnant with another dude's kid?
It may be selfish for you to deny her that.
Right, but
because you can make that argument.
But
like,
what do you want? Do you want to have a child or do you want to be pregnant? You want
because it would be her child.
With somebody else.
Yeah, but then the alternative is you kind of denying her that. Right.
Let me ask you a question. If you couldn't have children, would you just rather not have children at all?
If I couldn't have children at all, biologically
speaking. Think of all that money you'd be saving. All the money back to you, traveling all the
time. I don't think like I would be okay not having kids. Like I feel like I'm not like, oh my God, my destiny is to have children. I don't think that way. Would I love to have kids? Yeah, someday, sure. But I don't think my life.
If you can't, you're okay.
I'm okay with that, and I think she's okay with that too. She's like, oh, like if God forbid something happens, I can't have kids. Like, there's more to life than having children.
You're living life on easy mode, dude.
I think you have actually.
I'm like on a slide number 3 incline. You know, you're on the treadmill. You walking straight 0. Put it up on incline, maybe like 3, 4, 5. You're like, there's a little extra struggle.
You're fighting a couple of battles over there.
Still standing.
You got fucking Christina.
I got legal and illegal here. Which one do you want?
Gotta hit her.
No. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, yeah. So as we said, let us know what you think about that. Let us know in the comments down below. We'll probably throw some questions here.
I'm very curious, and maybe you have a story, or maybe personally this is something that you can relate to. Let us know. You know.
Let us know.
For sure.
All right, guys. Thank you. Next time.
Ciao, guys.
Peace.